Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. Hi everyone, hope all is well. Today I wanted to do a little sit down video with you, just super casual, super chill. It's the weekend and as a semi-corporate girly I cannot always be bothered to dress up as nicely as I do on a regular workday. I'm sure some of you out there will feel the same. Today I wanted to discuss 5 reasons why I think you should be looking into Salvatore Ferragamo as the brand for your potential next bag. Of course, this is merely my opinion. If you don't dig Ferragamo, obviously don't go out there to buy it. But I've been mildly obsessed with this brand for at least half a year now, and I wanted to walk you through what's behind it and why I think that Ferragamo is just, in a general sense, worthwhile considering. Next to me here I have my Ferragamo Box YZ. I reviewed this, I think, 2 weeks ago. This is unfortunately a bag that they don't make anymore. It's the mini size and it's calfskin with a combination of exotics. It's a really special and gorgeous bag, which gave me a good taste of what Ferragamo is about, but it will definitely not be my only argumentation for looking into this brand. So the first reason I think you should look into this brand is the quality of Ferragamo. And you shouldn't only take my word for it or the word of other handbag or luxury influencers on YouTube. Ferragamo is actually also somewhat known and popular within the leather community. Now, I'm not somebody who is all up in the leather community. I love leather handbags, but I'm not so much interested in the product itself. But for example, recently Tanner Letterstein put out a video where he cuts up a Ferragamo studio box bag. And it was actually quite funny to see, because for a guy who sort of slays LV and Chanel bags and Prada items left and right, it actually took him a very long time to shoot the video where he was cutting up the Ferragamo bag, because he actually felt kind of bad cutting such a nice bag up.
I must admit, I delayed this project for so long just because something in me didn't want to cut this baby up.
And his conclusion on the bag was that the leather was great, the hardware perhaps not top notch but of decent quality, and that the price that he got the bag for was very reasonable. And more about pricing on Ferragamo will be up next. But I also saw it in an Instagram reel some time ago of Rego Brothers. Rego Brothers is a leather goods restoration store, as far as I can tell. I think they are based out of New Jersey. And Tom from Rego Brothers, the guy you always see, when he was asked what his favorite brand was to see within Rego Brothers, he also said Ferragamo.
What is your favorite brand to see at Rego Brothers?
I really like seeing Ferragamo shoes and handbags.
Now I am assuming he's mentioning Ferragamo not in the sense of this brings in a lot of money because these items get destroyed easily all the time. I am assuming that he genuinely meant that it is a brand that he enjoys to see and that he enjoys to restore and touch up for another life. So then on to the second point, which is the pricing of Ferragamo. So full price, their items are already quite decently priced, like they are way below the price ranges of a Chanel or a Dior or LV. I think their ranges are even a bit below what you would normally see for Saint Laurent or Loewe, but more importantly, their items still go on sale. And this is something that we've seen with brands in the luxury space like Saint Laurent and Loewe. When I was buying those brands for the first time, they at least still had some promotional offers. I think for Saint Laurent, these are very hard to come by nowadays. Loewe, you also see it less and less often. Like when I got my puzzle bag, it was 50% off. I don't think that's something you would ever find anymore. Definitely not on the colors they have every season. But Ferragamo gives discount on quite a number of their bag. Of course, usually in the seasonal colors, but also in the non-seasonal colors. And these discounts can go up to 50% if you can get an additional coupon. For example, perhaps you can get another 5, 10, 15, 20% off, and then you are at a discount of 60%, and that's kind of unheard of for a lot of the luxury brands that we see nowadays. So one thing to mention here, which is perhaps a good reason for jumping on the Ferragamo bandwagon right now, is that I already see that Ferragamo is not discounting as aggressively as some other brands. So Farfetch and Mytheresa, they have an additional extra 20% discount on their sale items right now, and Ferragamo is not participating in that. And we all know that discounts usually only get less and less, and prices will only go up and up. So if you're thinking about getting something new from Ferragamo, the near future might be a good time to act upon that. However, if you're looking into getting something pre-loved, that would also be a great idea. I see quite a bit of vintage items, even here in the Netherlands, where I think just generally the offer of pre-loved items is not that massive. I've seen some really nice vintage items of Ferragamo being sold online. I've seen some bags going for like $150, for example, which I think will be quite reasonable, especially if you are comparing it to more popular brands and given the quality of Ferragamo. It's definitely worthwhile looking into getting one of those bags, giving them a bit of TLC, and then giving them another life. Moving on to reason 3, why Ferragamo is interesting. Most of what they make I would consider low-key luxury. And I've touched upon this in a video a couple of weeks ago. Low-key luxury is something that I very much do. I have nothing against loud luxury. Also, if loud luxury is your thing, then Ferragamo is probably not the best option for you. But not only is the quiet luxury on trend right now, I also think that quiet luxury will stand the test of time a little bit better than loud luxury, because loud luxury just tends to be in or out. Quiet luxury is usually a little bit easier to carry over time. Having said that, of course, you should wear whatever the bag you like. Reason number 4, I've been investigating quite a number of their styles, not only for this video, but obviously also out of personal interest. And I can already tell you there's a lot of styles that I like, but I was actually surprised by how practical most of these styles are. So I do have to say that Ferragamo will quite often go for smooth leathers. They also have these beautiful patent styles and these ombre styles that are gorgeous, but that I personally probably wouldn't go for out of practicality. But what I really mean here is that quite a number of their bags have straps when you wouldn't necessarily expect the bags to have straps. And same for zippers. I've seen a number of their totes and I was quite surprised that those totes have zippers. And it's of course not the case for each and every single bag that they create. But overall I've been really quite surprised by the practicality they add to their bags by just giving them straps that are detachable, usually adjustable, and by adding zippers to some of their totes, for example, so that they are not so incredibly open. And perhaps a little element to show on my Box YC bag. I've said in my review video that of course the lock on this is quite fuzzy, but what I really like, for example, and sorry I have the dust bag in here, but you can actually open this bag up because they've given some extra space to the top. That is a really clever design element. Something that I also like is that they just added this little additional piece of leather at the bottom just to make the base a little bit more sturdy. So this is the only Ferragamo bag that I have right now, but I'm planning to get more. Actually, little spoiler alert, I have 2 Ferragamo items on the way. I hope to do an unboxing next week, so stay tuned for that. And I'm only saying I hope to do it because they're on the way now. I think these items are coming from Italy. They're currently also striking in Germany, I think, and it will have to move through there. So we'll see if these items arrive in time or if they arrive at all. But I'm very excited that I will get to do Ferragamo unboxings soon. Hopefully. So sorry for that little detour. Moving on to the 5th point. I think Ferragamo has something for almost everyone. And as I already mentioned, okay, you shouldn't expect loud luxury from Ferragamo. Their styles are usually also fairly structured, so if one of those 2 things is not really your jam, then perhaps this argument goes in vain. But I've really been intrigued and I've been falling in love with a number of the styles they have. So let's just run through a number of them. Of course, there's your very well-known and popular styles of bag from Ferragamo. You can think of their iconic bag, beautiful top handle that usually comes in a smooth leather or perhaps a patent leather. Then there's the other classic, the studio bag or the studio box bag. They have multiple variants of this, so there's the studio bag, the soft studio bag, and the studio box bag that also comes in a wide array of sizes. This is the bag that I've been eyeing for the longest time, and that is top of my wish list right now. And then recently they also introduced the Wanda bag. I can imagine this is not per se a style for everyone, but I do think it's beautiful. And this is, for example, one of those bags where I wouldn't per se have expected a strap, because it does kind of look like a top handle style. I would probably wear it as a top handle style, but it does actually come with a strap and you can just wear it crossbody or over the shoulder if you like. Then if you want to go for something that is very Ferragamo but perhaps not as well known yet, or perhaps a little bit more outspoken, I think some great options are the Hug bag that they recently introduced. It's this tote, and I have to admit this is one without a zipper, but I think it's absolutely stunning. This is right now sort of my second favorite piece. It really needed to grow on me a little bit, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. My YouTube friend Corinne, I will link her channel down below. Go check it out and subscribe because she is awesome. In any case, she posted a picture on Instagram some time ago of her being in the Ferragamo store and trying out this Hug bag. Gray with yellow on the inside. I just found it amazing. Such a beautiful bag. I am an absolute sucker for it. But I need to keep my eyes on the prize and get the studio bag first. Another bag I found quite interesting is the geometric bag. I think they have a number of geometric bags, so if geometry in bags is your thing, definitely one to look into. Again, this is a style where I hadn't expected them to add a strap to this bag. It looks still very much like a top handle, but it does actually come with a strap, so that is great. And then the third style I wanted to point out is this sort of cutout style that they have. They either have it with fabric on the inside or with leather. I think the one with the leather is still quite nice. The one with the fabric is not so much my style. Just putting it out there because I want to sort of demonstrate the range of styles that Ferragamo has available. If this is all a little bit too wild and crazy for you, Ferragamo also has some very low-key styles that I think will basically just work for a lot of people, because these are also styles that you will see in a lot of other brands. They have the shoulder bag, for example, and the smaller one I think is really beautiful with the buckle coming over the side. It also reminds me a little bit of the YSL 5 I think it's called. I personally really think it's so cool how the buckle comes across from the side instead of going across from the top, if that makes sense. It's very low-key, but just a tiny little bit more special. Then there's the, I think it's called the Margot bag. They also call it the Gancini top handle. Very classic top handle style. Of course, you do have the Gancini logo at the front as a buckle, but this looks as a very beautiful top handle style. A bit less structured, I suppose. That will also stand the test of time. Actually, I've been watching this bag pre-loved in a beautiful shade of teal, I suppose. Again, haven't been able to pull the trigger because I need to keep my eye on the price. And then if you want to go for another low-key option, they also have this flat bag. I don't exactly know what it's called. It seems to be a bit of a puffy flat bag, kind of their variation on the Chanel classic flap. Who doesn't love a classic type of flap bag style with a chain? I think you can also just enjoy this one for a very long time to come. And then one final category I really have to point out, because again, I have a couple of bags here that I am obsessed with, and that is the totes that they have. So there's this one tote with the Gancini buckles that come up from on the side. This is one of those bags where I was quite surprised that it has a zipper. Another style I find really interesting is their tote bag with zipper. So this is just a very simple tote bag. I think a level of simplicity that you would also expect from the YSL East-West tote, for example. But because it caves in at the side, I think it's just, again, a tad more interesting than a lot of other tote bags that luxury brands tend to do. And again, this is one that has a zipper. One other style to mention is their Viva Bow tote bag. This Viva Bow is something that you will see on a lot of their items, either on bags or shoes. Personally, I'm not a very big fan of it because, yeah, it's fabric attached to a leather item. Fabric usually doesn't really stand the test of time all that well as leather does, and because it's also not integrated in the bag all that much. I don't know, the bow, I'm just not really feeling it, but it is quite typical for Ferragamo, and perhaps it is something that you will like. They also have a fabric tote. I didn't really want to dive any further into fabric because fabric bags is not something I'm very interested in personally. But if you want to get something on the lower end of the pricing range, and this is also I think one of the very few items that will just say Ferragamo or Salvatore Ferragamo on it quite big, it might definitely be an interesting one for you. So overall, Ferragamo has a wide array of colors and especially beautiful ombres as well to offer. There is variety in materials, although I do have to say that it can be quite restricted in terms of the style. Like I said, the iconic bag tends to only come in a smooth leather and not in a great leather. But just to say, Ferragamo has a lot more than just their well-known bags. And in that sense, Ferragamo might actually also have something for you. So coming to conclude, we have a brand that has wonderful quality. It's not just coming from me, but it's also coming from the leather lovers on the internet. Still quite reasonable pricing and very high discounts. More practical than you might expect out of most luxury handbags. And a lot of low-key luxury styles that are not just only on trend right now, but that are likely to stand the test of time. Therefore, it's not surprising for me that I'm very much digging this brand right now, but I also don't find it surprising that other influencers or creators on YouTube, you can think of Cassie or Romina Rosemay, are buying more and more of Ferragamo. And again, not to say that I'm trying to influence you here. If you don't like Ferragamo, that's also perfectly fine. But if you weren't very much aware of this brand, or if you were doubting a little bit about whether you want to get into it, I think it's definitely worthwhile putting them on your radar while you are investigating your next purchase. I'm very excited about hopefully extending my collection. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss anything. And that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below in the comments. Do you like Ferragamo? Do you have anything from Ferragamo? If so, what do you have? Let me daydream a little bit as I'm awaiting my Ferragamo purchases. Thanks for watching, and remember, there's a style in a situation and it tastes for everything. So don't judge, wear whatever the bag you like. Until next time, or as we would say in Dutch, doei!